Yeah.
You guys, before we get into the particular skirt we're making, let's get to know the different type of skirts. Now there is a flare skirt and also an A-line skirt, and I have a video on how to make this. And also there is gather skirts. Now this gathers, you can decide to make it 1 layer, 2 layer, it is up to you. Now the next skirt is the wrap skirts, and this you can decide to even include the flare to this and make it a design. And another one we have is the pleated skirt. I have a tutorial that shows you how to make this particular skirt I just mentioned, but for this video we are going to be making a pencil skirt. Thank you guys for joining me on this video. I hope these steps are easy and simple enough for you to be able to recreate yours. Let's get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is draft out a pattern, and these are the measurements we need. We need the round waist, the hip point, the round hip, and the skirt length. Make sure you have these measurements, and these are what we're going to be using. Now the first point on this pattern is always the waist point. You can go ahead and rule a line to indicate that, yeah, this is the waist point, but I already know that this is the waist point. I'll place my tape and go down by 9 inches to mark the hip point. So you place your tape from the first or the top of the pattern and go down, mark your hip point, rule on horizontal line on that point. The next thing you should do is take your skirt length. Now this is how long you want your skirt to be, and for this particular video I'm making it 23 inches. Now for the purpose of hemming, because I'm going to be hemming this skirt in, that's on the length, I'm going to increase this by 2 inches. That's the length. I'm adding 2 inches to the length, making it 25 inches as the length in total, because I'm going to be hemming in 2 inches. Now that is done, the next thing for us to do is divide round measurements. Now the first round measurement I'll be dividing is the round waist. So I'll go ahead and place my tape on the pattern like this. Divide my sister's round. This particular skirt is for my younger sister. So I'll go ahead and divide her round waist by 4. And then I'm just going to add 1 inch for the dart. So I'll go down to the hip line and divide her round hip by 4. I'll mark that down on the hip line. And now what I'll be doing for the length, I'll minus 1 inch from the hip measurement. Her round hip is 37. I'm just going to minus 1 inch, and I have 36 left. I'll divide the 36 by 4 and mark that on the length. So it depends on how tight you want it to be at the base. That's the length of the skirt. If you want it to be tighter, you can take off 2 inches or 3 inches. It is up to you. So once you're done marking those points down, just go ahead and connect them together, and now you can see your skirt pattern has formed.
So just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change.
So just go ahead and adjust any points, because you don't want to have sharp points on your pattern. So now that I'm done, I'll go in from the center front of the skirts. I'll go in by 4 inches because I'm about to mark her dart. And then from the 4 inches point, I'll also go down by 4 inches. Or connect both points together. Make sure you confirm that you have 4 inches from the center front to the point you just marked, and once you have that confirmed, connect both points together with a straight line. From this point that we've indicated with a straight line, I'm just going to mark half inches to the left and half inches to the right, making it 1 inch for the dart. And I added that already on the while drafting out the pattern. I added 1 inch for this dart, so I'm just marking it in. So once I have my half inch on each side of the straight line, I'm going to connect that to the 4 inches on the base like this. So what we just did now is mark the dart, and that is it. So I'm just going to add half inch around this pattern. And you guys, that is it for this pattern. We're going to go ahead and draft out the back pattern. Now that I'm done marking my 1/2 inch allowance, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out this pattern. And so this is the brown paper for the back pattern, and what I'm just going to do is mark in 2 inches, and this is for the zip allowance. So the back pattern and the front pattern is almost the same thing, but the difference is just the zip. Now if you're using a stretchy fabric, you don't need zip allowance, skip this. But if you're not using a stretchy fabric, you're using a normal crepe or a fabric that doesn't stretch, make sure you leave allowance for your zip, and that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just marking 2 inches, and this is for the zip. Now I'm just going to place the front pattern on this after the 2 inches for the zip. After the 2 inches line, I'm just going to place the front pattern, and also make sure you indicate the darts. So I'm just going to transfer my darts from the front pattern to the back pattern like this. So once I'm done, I'm just going to place my scissors so it holds down the front pattern to the back, and while I cut, I'm just tracing out the front pattern on the back, and then we're going to go ahead and work on our zip after this. So I'm just trying to get my darts. I'll connect the points together so I can just get back my darts on the back. Now I'm just going to indicate the hip point on the back pattern, and I'll rule an horizontal line because of the allowance for the zip. We're about to adjust it. Now that I have that, what I'll do is I'll mark 1 inch on the waist. I'm marking in 1 inch. After the line indicated, I'm going out by 1 inch, and on the hip I'm marking out 1.5 inch, and then from the hip I'll go down by 5 inches. From the 5 inches, I'll mark 1 inch down to the length. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch down to the length. And I'm just going to connect all points together. I'm connecting the 1 inch on the waist to the 1.5 on the hip, and then the 1.5 down to the 1 inch on the length, like that, and you guys were done. So these parts that I'm marking X, I'm not using this part, so these parts I'm going to cut them off. And now on the front, I'm just going to be marking my curve, the curve on the waistline. So I'm just going to go down by 1 inch, and then I'll go in by 3 inches. I'll connect both points together. This is me dropping my waist. That's my front pattern. I'm dropping down the waist by 1 inch. So I have the fabric folded into 2, and I'll be placing my pattern on the wrong side. The right side is the shiny part, and then the wrong side does not shine. So I'm just going to place my front pattern on the fabric like this. Make sure your fabric is folded into 2. Place your pattern. You can use your pin to pin this down, or you can use a book, or just be resourceful. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and trace out the front pattern on this fabric. And don't forget to notch your dart points. That's what I'm doing. I'm just notching on the fabric so I can know where to sew when I'm sewing. Now this is my back pattern. Remember that this excess, I said we are not going to be using it, so I'm cutting it out of the pattern so I can place this on my folded fabric. And this is the fabric folded into 2. I'll go ahead and place the back pattern on the fabric, and remember your back piece is supposed to be splitted into 2. So make sure you have that splitted into 2 because of the zip. That's what I'm doing. And then I'll just trace this out. Also, don't forget to notch your darts. You need to know the points when you're sewing. So notch. And this is the back piece. Now I'm just indicating which side is for the zip and which side is the side and the waist points, because it looks confusing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just indicating that this part is for the zip so I don't get confused when I'm sewing. So now to adjust my zip on the back piece, I'm just marking 1 inch from the waist down to the length. I'm just going to keep marking 1 inch, and I'll rule a straight line because I'll be sewing on this particular line. I'll be closing the back piece together, like I'll be sewing the 2 pieces of the back piece together with this line. And once I was done doing that, this is how it looks. You guys, we need to iron this out so we can know the line, like we can have the ghetto line on the zip side. So I'm just going in with my hot iron, and I'm just making sure that this part that I have sewn in lays flat. And once I was done, this is how it looks. So remember to go sew in your darts, because that's what I'm about to go do. And yeah, this is it. I have my darts sewn in on the back piece, and also on my front piece I went ahead to sew in my darts. So don't forget to sew in your darts. And now I'll just go ahead and place the front piece on the back piece. I'll sew the sides by 1/2 inch. So here 1/2 inch to the length, and on this side 1/2 inch to the length. Once I was done, this is how it looks. I'll flip this to the right side so you guys can see this properly. Yeah, this is how it looks. Making a pencil skirt is really easy. Trust me, it is. So what I'll do now is, this is the back side of the skirt. I'm just going to use my seam ripper. You can use a razor if you don't have a seam ripper, or any tool that can do this job. First, indicate the point where your zip is going to stop. Indicate that with a chalk, and now go ahead with your razor, your seam ripper, whatever you have to lose. Go ahead and lose this to the point you indicated for your zip. And now this is the fabric for my band. This fabric is 5 inches long, and make sure the width of the band is your round waist plus extra 5 inches. Now this fabric that you're looking at is 5 inches long, and I ironed in 1/2 inch on the top and 1/2 inch on the base, and then I folded this into 2 to have 2 inches worth of band. Now I'm just going to go ahead and attach my band to the skirt from this part. I'll sew this round. I'll show you guys the results. And this is how it looks. I have my band attached to the skirt, and you guys, we are almost at the end of this video. Now all we have to do now is just go attach the zip. And also, this skirt is going to be having a slit at the length, so I'll go ahead and rip this open to the point where I want the slit to stop or to start. So this is the way I want the slit to start from. I'll take this to go interlock and also weave the fabric round. And here you have it, all weaved, and the slit is interlocked. And I have my hemming gum here, so my hemming gum is just going to help my slit sit properly and flat. And also on the hemline, like on the baseline, the length, I'm going to hem this in by 1 inch. And there you have it, guys. This is all for the tutorial. I hope these steps were very easy and simple for you to follow. Let me know in the comment section. And you guys, this is my younger sister. She is the one wearing the skirt. I made the skirt for her. She wants to be a flight attendant, so I decided to make one skirt for her to take to school. And thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe and also give this video a thumbs up. You guys, I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt